Now let's talk about the fourth chapter in general path, that is neoplasia. Now neoplasia in the exam will have 1 to 2 questions and some clinical correlated questions. So they can be more, but directly from the content which we'll be revising, you can have 1 to 3 questions. Now there are 6 new words which you have to understand. The first word is dysplasia, that is disorganized or disordered growth, and anaplasia, which is completely abnormal or undifferentiated growth. Differentiation can be of 3 types. That is your well differentiated, moderately differentiated, or poorly differentiated. And the better the differentiation, the better is the prognosis. The worse is the differentiation, worse is the prognosis. Then the other 4 words, they're your desmoplasia, pleomorphism, choriostoma, and hamartoma. In desmoplasia, it is abundant stroma around the tumor cells. In pleomorphism, it is variations in shape and size of the cell. Choriostoma, this is normal tissue at abnormal location, and hamartoma, it is your abnormal tissue at normal location. कैसे याद किया था? जैसा भी है हमारा है. And the example of hamartoma is pulmonary hamartoma, where you see popcorn calcification or coin lesion. In choriostoma, it is endometriosis. You must have read in gynecology in the classes, recent classes. Now, nomenclature of a tumor, epithelial or mesenchymal, benign, malignant. Benign में हमेशा the suffix is gonna be oma, and for malignant the suffix is gonna be carcinoma if it's epithelial malignant, and sarcoma if it is mesenchymal malignant. If a tumor is a mixed tumor, you can have pleomorphic adenoma, which is a benign tumor, and Wilms tumor if it is a malignant mixed tumor. There are some exceptions, Shodu. Lymphoma, seminoma, melanoma, hepatoma, all these are only having oma. But they are not omas, they are not benigns. They are cancerous tumors, malignant cancers. ठीक है तो याद रखना. Then we have teratoma हो गया यार, more than 2 germ layers at one place. And teratomas are not always malignant, याद रखना अपने को ये. ठीक है. Then benign malignant differences, hallmark of malignancy, छोटू, this is your anaplasia. गलती मत करना यार छोटे इसमें. Hallmark is anaplasia. Surest sign is metastasis, and a malignant tumor which never metastasizes is basal cell carcinoma, skin, rodent ulcer. Differences between anaplasia, metaplasia, dysplasia. Metaplasia is completely normal. It's an adaptation. So everything normal will be there. Dysplasia बीच का है यार. Anaplasia, it's cancer. ठीक है. Cell cycle, the most important topic of this chapter. पिछले 4-5 बार से every exam has a question in this. How many phases? 4 phases. We are writing cell cycle as G0, G1, S, G2, M. G0 is the resting phase, cell is not doing anything, and the purpose of cell cycle is cell division. So we'll start counting the cell cycle phases from G1 when the cell is doing something for the purpose of division. So G1 से count करते हैं. That is why G1S, G2M, these are the 4 phases of cell cycle. G1 is a pre-synthetic phase, cell does not synthesize anything, just prepare itself. S, synthetic phase, cells doubles the chromatin material. Then G2 is a preparatory phase for mitosis, and then M phase is mitosis. So the change in the genetic material is happening between G2 and M and G1 and S. So you need a checkpoint to see that whether whatever you are making and whatever you are dividing, there should be no mutation in that. So at the checkpoint, we have our checkers. Who is the main checkpoint holder? That is your P53. And this P53 is called as policeman, molecular policeman of your genome or your cell cycle, and guardian of your genome. Then P53, what it does, when it is checking for a mutation, it sends P21. P21 checks for the mutation. If the mutation is not seen, that means everything is normal, cell cycle continues. But if the mutation is present, we try to repair first by applying GET45. If we can repair it, good, cell cycle continues. If we cannot repair, we kill it, apoptosis. Cell cycle proliferators. Sometimes you need to increase the division of the cell cycle. So DEAB, the cyclins, and 46221. DEAB 46221. DEAB 46221. Now DNE 462, they are for first phase G1S. AB 21, they are for second phase G2M. Now cell cycle inhibitors, the brakes. There are of 2 types, CYP-KIP and INK4A. CYP-KIP, because they are bigger molecules, P21, P27, P57, so they can apply brake in both the phases, G1S, G2M, and the smaller ones, P14, P16, P18, they're only for the first phase. Now, this P16 is the most important one. It is also called as TDKN2A, and mutation in this can lead to PSM, the pancreatic cancer, the seminoma, squamous cell carcinoma, and melanoma. Now, the maximum DNA synthesis is seen in S phase. Cell cycle beta ye aapne round bana hi liya hai, that you are having what? G1S and then G2M. And in G1S, the breaks are both CYP-KIP INK. In G2M, break is only one, the interphase. This is G2M, CYP-KIP. The proliferators, the pedals in G1S, कौन से थे छोटू? पहले दो DE और G2M में दूसरे वाले दो AB। ठीक है। दिस टेबल, बेटा दिस टेबल वी आर लर्निंग एज मोस्ट, बट इफ लीस्ट वर्ड कम्स, डू द रेसिप्रोकल। सो if we talk about most radio sensitive phase, because sensitive word is coming, तो S आंसर नहीं होगा, G2M। Sensitive cell lymphocyte, sensitive tissue bone marrow and sensitive organ gonad। Resistant में resistant phase is your G2M, resistant cell platelet, resistant tissue nervous tissue, resistant organ vagina। अगर लीस्ट पूछ ले तो उल्टा कर देना, ठीक है? कभी यही मार के आ जाओ, बस पहला यहां पे ही कंफ्यूजन होता है, सेंसिटिव वाला फेज कौन सा। इफ दे आर आस्किंग मोस्ट रेडियो सेंसिटिव, तो सेंसिटिव पूछा है तो एस नहीं होगा, G2 है। और अगर इंडिविजुअल बात करते हैं, लेट्स से इंडिविजुअल क्वेश्चन इज देयर, सो बेटर आंसर एस फॉर हियर एंड एम फॉर हियर। ठीक है, बेटर आंसर एस और एम है, तो इसमें भी कोई गलती नहीं होनी चाहिए। हॉलमार्क ऑफ कैंसर, मीट स्टॉल। M is metastasis, three ways: hematogenous, lymphatic, and direct spread. Hematogenous sarcomas, lymphatic carcinomas, and direct spread, very dangerous cancers like mucinous ovarian cancer, called as pseudomyxoma peritoni, into the peritoneal cavity, and medulloblastoma directly moves into the CSF, called as drop mets. Some exceptions are there. Nobody is going to ask you normally why our normal cells do not metastasize, because of presence of a molecule called as E-cadherin. E-cadherin is a glue which actually, you know, protects your normal cells to go anywhere else. When it is mutated, E-cadherin is low, metastasis. Evasion of apoptosis because of blockage of tumor suppressor gene. Your P53 causes apoptosis of any abnormal division. If P53 is mutated, no apoptosis, or presence of anti-apoptotic molecules like BCL6. I mean, the anti-apoptotic BCL, MCL, कोई से भी हो, but anti-apoptotic molecules. Angiogenesis, new growth factors tumor cell can produce itself, VEGF, PDGF, FGF. And evasion of T cells, CD4, CD8, अभी पढ़ा है मैंने आपको, I hope you have seen the immunity chapter and now you are revising this neoplasia. So बेटा T cell के लिए it is very important to activate CD28 molecule, the co-stimulatory molecule. Tumor cells inhibit that. तो भाई T cell कभी कुछ कर ही नहीं पाएगा. Secondly, for a T cell, T cell cannot recognize everything on its own. T cell only can recognize when the antigen presenting cell are presenting to it. Now, tumor cell does not behave like an antigen, so T cell will never recognize it. And thirdly, tumor cell do not have MHC1. Up your CD8 T cell binds with the MHC, then only it functions. Rule of 8. Now, tumor cell does not have MHC1, so your CD8 T cell will not be able to kill it. So these are the reasons why your tumor cells evade your immunity. This self-sufficiency of growth signals. So we have done PDGF astrocytoma, FGF, F for F fibrosarcoma, osteosarcoma, H for H, hepatocellular carcinoma, PDGFR glioma, 1 adeno, 2 breast, ret चूहा किट मस्त, AL के नाम में ही है एडिनोकार्सिनोमा लंग्स, रास एक ही याद रखना है कोलॉन, ABL CML ब्राफ HCL पता ही है आपको, बर्किट में बेटा BC NNLL, न्यूरोब्लास्टोमा, मेडलोब्लास्टोमा एंड लंग कैंसर, CDK4 ग्लायोब्लास्टोमा, और साइकिल चलाते चलाते वी मेंटल। देन योर ट्यूमर सप्रेसर जीन, पूरा लिस्ट याद कराया, इसी फॉर्म में याद करो सो दैट यू कैन लर्न द लोकेशंस आल्सो प्रॉपर्ली। P53, RB, NF1, NF2, बरका 1, बरका 2, WT1, WT2 एंड VHL। ठीक है, लोकेशंस याद रख लेना इसके। P53 17 पे खतरा एंड P for P, रेस्ट ऑल आर Q एक्सेप्ट द लास्ट थ्री रीनल वंस। VHL RCC के लिए है, WT1 WT2 जो है विल्स ट्यूमर के लिए, तो किडनी वाले भी सारे P पे और P53 P पे, बाकी सब Q पे। Then your P53 is called as guardian of genome. It is also called as molecular policeman. और मैंने बताया every cell cycle checkpoint P53 is present. तो छोटू अगर blast हुआ और P53 mutate हो गया, P53 mutated. Now P53 is not working. So P53 is not working. So can anybody control this blast? Because now every cell can divide in whatever way it wants because there is no policeman. So whenever P53 is mutated, a blast occurs in the body. Any tumor can develop. So most common tumor, most common gene overall getting mutated in human malignancies is P53. Most common tumor suppressor gene mutated in human malignancies P53. But most common oncogene mutated in human malignancies, that's your RAS. RB gene, it is called as governor of cell cycle. RB gene mutation can lead to bilateral retinoblastoma, pineoblastoma, osteosarcoma. Nutsen's hypothesis that RB gene normal functioning, the RB gene genotype should be heterozygous. The moment it becomes homozygous, cancer develops. Our role of RB gene, beta, it's a governor of cell cycle. It contains E, which is a transcription factor. So it holds E with it and it does not allow the cell to divide. Once RB gene feels that the division is right, the signal is right, then only RB gene leaves the E. Which phase of the cell cycle RB gene controls? G1S. And if E goes to G1S, then only the cell cycle will progress. And that is why it is called as governor. Why would RB gene leave E when you phosphorylate the RB gene? Hyperphosphorylated form of the RB gene is called as inactive because now it has no control, and hypophosphorylated of the form of the RB gene is called as active RB gene because it is controlling E. Till the time you do not give E to the cell cycle, you will not be able to translate the signal. So RB gene governs G1S phase. Hypo is the active form. Hyperphosphorylated RP is the inactive form. Altered cellular metabolism, also called as Knudsen's hypothesis, and we know that we have said that normal cells require what for division? The oxygen, because they will do aerobic glycolysis, whereas tumor cells they require what? They require glucose only. They are not dependent on oxygen. Okay. Now, last one, this is your limitless replication potential. And we have discussed this in chapter number one that telomerase enzyme, GST, it is present in tumor cells and it gives tumor cells unlimited replication potential. Cancer cachexia, the cytokine required is TNF alpha and it causes loss of lean body mass. What is lean body mass? The minimum amount of muscles and fat. Paraneoplastic syndromes, they are syndromes which are associated with certain cancers but can't be explained by the anatomical location or the spread of the cancer. कि मिल तो रहे हैं लेकिन ये समझ में नहीं आ रहा क्यों है. So these are paraneoplastic syndromes like hypercalcemia, Cushing and SIAD. Hypercalcemia, please remember this is the most common paraneoplastic syndrome. The most common cancer showing you paraneoplastic syndrome is lung cancer. Tumor lysis syndrome, बेटा एक ही बात, सब कुछ कम ज्यादा हो जाएगा, एक ही चीज कम होगी, कैल्शियम. हाइपोकैल्सीमिया is seen as everything is high. Phosphate and calcium में opposite का काम चलता है because body tries to maintain the levels of calcium and phosphate because otherwise they will form calcium phosphate and it can cause atherosclerosis. Stains, I just told you, learn melanoma, S100 HMB45, the stain is Mason Fontana. For neuroendocrine tumors, I told you Irfan Khan died because of this. So this question is, every 2 or 3 times it is coming. BSC, Bombesin, synaptophysin, chromogranin. Any neuroendocrine tumor will be positive for this. Tumor markers, calcitonin, medullary carcinoma, thyroid, AFP just came last exam, hepatocellular carcinoma, and yolk sac tumor, beta HCG, choriocarcinoma, or germ cell tumor. PSA नाम से ही है prostate cancer, catecholamiне, it is pheochromocytoma, we all know CEA, colon cancer, pancreatic cancer, better answer is colon. 72.4 stomach, 19.9 colon, 115.3 is your breast cancer and 125 ovarian. Minimum इतना तो होना ही चाहिए. Radiation carcinogenesis, CLL will not be caused out of radiation. Rest every other leukemia can be caused. Most commonly AML. Chemical carcinogenesis, Ames test to check the chemical mutagenesis, not carcinogenesis. Ames test is just to see that whether the chemical has the potential to even cause a mutation. Let alone cancer development. उसकी तो हम बात ही नहीं कर रहे. सिर्फ chemical mutagen potential देखना होता है. Which bacteria we are taking? Salmonella typhimurium. If you test a chemical, histidine negative remains histidine negative. It's a safe chemical. If histidine negative becomes histidine positive, unsafe. In this entire table, learn asbestosis, lung cancer, mesothelioma. The most specific one is mesothelioma and lung cancer is most common. Aflatoxin, HCC you learn, and benzene, it will cause blood cancer, AML more commonly. Bladder cancer also it can cause. That's it. That's what you learn. Okay. So this is your the chapter of neoplasia, a quick recall of what we have done in the classes, cell cycle, and the last clinical part is the most important part for the exam. I hope this small revision video helps you in repeating and revising this chapter. See you in the next. Bye bye, Chotu.